This is the Molus B500, a 500 watt bicolor light that can go from 2700 Kelvin all the way up to 6500 Kelvin. This thing has effects, it has great color renditions, and what's the craziest thing about it is how small, compact, how simple it is to set up, but more importantly is the asking price. As of today, this is going for right now about $580 that I've seen on B&H. And for that type of price, this is one of the best value high power lights that I have ever recommended on this channel. Zhiyun clearly has a vision of the type of lights they want to produce, and we'll go more into it. But I have been so impressed by their products that I have seen on this channel as well, but also just in my own use case, especially now with this light. I pretty much have switched completely over to Zhiyun for shooting my weddings and my small one-man band production shoots. Today I'm going to be discussing the 500 light in general, but also I'm going to discuss Zhiyun as a company in just terms of their light products and how they're bringing so much value and who is these lights for, specifically the 500 watt that we have here, but also who it is not for. I'm going to discuss all that and more in today's video. Hello everybody, my name is James Jackson. If you're new here, I do tips, tricks, news, and reviews for the film and video making industry. So if this is content that you like, definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell to stay up to date on all the content going forth. All right, so I just want to give the typical disclosures out right now, and this is going to be a pretty easy one, and that is the fact that Zhiyun actually didn't send me this light. I actually bought this light with my own money, and that I have put on paid jobs myself personally. So I basically have no reasons to hold anything back with Zhiyun. Now, to be fair, Zhiyun did send me some accessories, which I'll talk about later in the video to go and talk about this light. One of them being the lanterns that they have, as well as the softbox that they sell. As I mentioned, it's a 500 light that goes from 2700 Kelvin all the way up to 6500 Kelvin. What's amazing about this light is just, as I'll take this off, it's just how small and compact and basically what comes with this light. So essentially, this, I want to just pull it out. So this right here is the box that this comes with it. And essentially in this box is everything you see right here: the reflector, the light, and the power cable. The only thing left is the cover that goes to, attaches to the light when you're not using the reflector. But that's essentially it. And one of the reasons why I say this is great in terms of setup time is just you don't have to worry about setting up a ballast, running that, connecting that, running cables through that, and then finding something to attach to it. It's less time to set up. You just need to set up the light, plug it in, and you're ready to go. Now, I'm not gonna really go heavy into specs or anything or any technical aspects of this light because there's honestly quite a few videos on that. In fact, you know, one of the great lighting review channels out there, Andrew Locke, also the channel known as Gaffer and Gear, he's already done a review on this light as well as the little brothers of this light. So if you want the technical specifications, definitely check out his channel. I'm just gonna say from just my use case experience, this is such a joy and such an awesome thing to set up for the right setup. And I say that because there's some trade-offs with a light like this where you have the power and the control unit built in. Number one, you pretty much have no way to reach the light if you set it up high outside of the app. Now, in fairness of Zhiyun, I've been using the app constantly, and the app has been flawless. I have had little issues with the app. It has no issues finding it. So using the app, I'm able to completely control the light. I can put it to sleep so it's not staying powered on as much, and I can quickly turn it on. So no issues in terms of the app. However, if you're someone that doesn't like using phone apps, this may not be the light for you. The other thing that we got to point out, and I'm just going to go with this. One, this has no IP rating, and it's got 3 fans off to the side, so it's not, obviously it's not fully weather protected. It doesn't have any DMX or CRMX controls. And even though this is a bicolor light, it has no green or magenta color corrections. And the reason that's kind of a big deal is because bicolor lights are typically linear, and this one is. And given that it tends to shift towards the magenta when you get towards your common 32, 4400, and 5600 Kelvin. However, gels are still, there's still use cases of gels, and gels are super inexpensive. In fact, I'll give a link to the Roscoe gels that I use that are, that are of high quality. I'll leave them, and they're super inexpensive. I'll leave the link in the description below, but you can just throw a 1/8 quarter correction gel right onto it, and it's fixed. It's just sort of more of a convenience thing, more of a potential convenience issue with this, but just so you guys are fully aware. The reason why I bring all this up is because I will just say right off the top, if you are someone who's sort of more trying to build your portfolio, build your rental offerings for like gaffer, if you're going to be sort of more of a professional gaffer, this light is probably not best suited for you. However, if you are someone who is doing a lot more solo operating work, or if you are doing really small crews where time is of the essence and you really need to set up stuff really quickly, I don't know a better value proposition for what you get. Again, this is a 500 watt, which I will turn on right now. And as you'll see, as I completely obliterate this background, but this is a 500 watt light that goes for anywhere between $580 to $750. Right now, and I checked as of today, which is November 18th, 2024, B&H has it on sale for $580. And to put this all into perspective, the Nanlite Forza 500 2B goes for about $1,200. And the Forza 720B, I think, goes for like $1,500. And then the Aperture 600X goes for like $1,400, if I remember correctly. I'll put the correct pricing in the bills. But $580 compared to anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500, $1,600 is a huge price difference, especially again for the fact that if you actually, again, I highly recommend you go to Andrew Locke's channel and check out his technical specification, and also compare it to where he does reviews of those products as well. And you will notice a lot of the color retentions, the color accuracies, they're pretty much on par with those other lights. They're just missing key features like maybe IP ratings, CRMX and DRMX, and then green and magenta corrections. You're getting something here that is almost either less than half or maybe close to almost a third of the price of those lights. And it's way easier to set up. Again, all you have is the light, the reflector, and the cable that you have set up. And this is a good time to sort of talk about the fan, because the fan was sort of really a big deal when this first came out. Now, Zhiyun has actually made a firmware update with this light, and I've had it running for right now for a while. And like I said, the light is literally like right next to me. So obviously this would never be the situation that you would put this in. But I just wanted to do this right now so you guys can see just how loud this fan is. Now, to me, that is a very acceptable range, especially given the fact that the light is literally right here next to me. And this is, to me, it's a very, very consistent, very subtle system that just doesn't seem to be too invasive. Again, this is right here. If you have this high up and high away, I don't believe you're going to be as noticeable it's, again, this firmware update that they did to the light makes this much quieter. In fact, I have my Forza 60C off in the distance over there. That's creating that green light thing. And I hear that right now is a lot more louder than what I'm hearing this light from at the same distance. And as you guys can see right here, it is a Bowens mount attachment. So all your typical modifiers that you would put on a Bowens mount is right here. And as I mentioned, Zhiyun did send me a couple of their accessories. They sent me their 90 centimeter softbox, and then they sent me their 65 millimeter lantern. In terms of the softbox, I used that in my review video of the Ulanzi tripods. It does its job well. It does what a 90 centimeter softbox is. My one critique about it is it's just not big enough for me for human subjects. For product work, it's fantastic. It's great. But in terms of just like human subjects, I just wish they made a bigger softbox, like a 120 or even a 150, because this thing can definitely handle that amount of size of a softbox. So I just wish they would just make bigger ones, like a 120 or 150, so you could get that really, really soft look. And also, if you've seen my review video of the Zhiyun Cinepeer C100, I actually used this light with the Nanlite Forza Fresnel, and it works fantastic. I had it just shoot through a window so it can send a huge amount of power, and it looked great. It looked fantastic. So again, if you have other accessories, whether if it's from Nanlite or Aperture or any other brand, they'll work just fine with this light. And then of course, the last modifier that I used was the 65 millimeter lantern. And I love this guy. It's very easy to set up. It's just quick and easy, especially once you've assembled it once. You can just basically leave it attached and put it right into the bag. I will also say that the bags that come with these accessories, and I kind of wish they were just a little better quality. I feel like that after a couple serious use, those bags are going to tear and really come apart. But I mean, they're pretty affordable accessory mounts. But the lantern itself, it's really well built, well made quality. And one of the things that I love about it with this light is because the light is so light and you don't need a ballast, have to worry about a ballast or anything. You could basically just do an overhead, and with a lantern, you can basically use the skirts to block off different parts of the scene, so you have more control of the scene while creating a nice wrap around maybe your key subject. Typically with lights like these, you have to be very, very mindful and probably use something like a menace arm to have this set up. Now, I would typically especially for serious budgets, I would still recommend using a menace arm, but I basically just used it with a typical C-stand and C-stand arm and just added some weights to the back, and it worked perfectly fine. Not necessarily the thing I recommend you do, but if you're in a pinch, and again, I think that's the key thing with this light, is that if you're in a pinch, this thing works beautifully. And that's one of the things that I absolutely love about this light. And just so you can see sort of the output, this right now is just 6% of the output. And as you can see, already quite bright. We are about, I would say, 3 meters. We are about 3 meters away from the wall. So at 6% output, you can see just how crazy bright it already is. I'll just go through, but as you can see, we got bicolor, so you could quickly, what I love about it is the side bunch. You could just cycle through the different preset colors. We'll go, and it goes back to 27 and 32. So the last few projects that I've used this light on have been quite a few weddings. And one of the amazing things, I love it, is during prep as well as the reception. So with prep, I love it because typically when I'm going to a prep, whether it's a hotel or it's at the bride's house, it's always a bit of a hassle of trying to get light so you can just fill up the room. and it's just trying to set it up quickly. Before I bought this light, I've been using the Cinepeer C100, and before that, I was using things like the Molus X60 and the Nanlite Pavel Slims 120Cs. Of course, having all that set up, it takes, especially the 120C Nanlite, it takes so much time for it to set up. The easiest to set up is still, for me, the Cinepeer C100 from Zhiyun, simply because it's all, the light is already set. You just need to pull it out. You just need to throw it on a stand, turn it on, get to your settings correctly, and you're good to go. Especially if you got the combo kit. If you haven't seen my video on the Cinepeer C100, definitely please check it out. It's worth a look. But it comes with a diffusion soft grid that you can just already just attach, and it's a 100-watt light, so typically for small rooms, it's powerful enough to deal with a lot of the stuff. But sometimes I may be in a room that's a little bit larger, or I'm in a room with a lot of wood, which typically makes it a lot more difficult. That's not the case with this. Literally, I just aim it at the ceiling, and I basically just turn it on, and usually at best I go to 35. If I really am like a wooded area, I probably crank it up to like 50%, 60%. And the same with receptions. I can cover a dance floor with a standard ceiling reception area at like 30% with this watt, just aiming at the ceiling. And the beauty about it is I don't have to worry about any complaints of the light hitting people's eyes. It's just going straight to the ceiling, particularly where the dance floor is. Aim it down right there, and pretty much it works. I've never had to crank this to 100%. And literally, I've just been using it just as this. This is the setup I've been using for weddings. This reflector that comes with it, the head, and of course the grip. And once you throw it on a lighting stand, literally again with the app, the ZY Vega app, it pretty much, you have full control, and I can make all the settings and adjustments I need be right on the fly while I'm still have my camera without having to make any adjustments. I really love that about it. Again, so right now my combo for weddings is this light and the C100, both of these from Zhiyun. The C100 now is more so for when we do toasts at weddings, where I have it more focused on where the maid of honor and the best man are typically going to be standing to give the toasts. So that's typically where that reserves, and it also reserves the power for that one. But yeah, I absolutely love this light. It's so amazing and just how good an output, and again, the quality. So if you just need something where you need to put out a high amount of power and watt hours, again, for $580, I don't know any other lighting products that can give you this amount of power at the quality of the light that it can output at a better price. Anyways, this is going to do it for me, guys. I cannot recommend this light on enough. I would love to know if you guys are interested in this light, what's your questions about. If you have any questions, please leave your comments down below. And as always, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, take care, everyone.